Hi everybody. Have you had a concussion or a head injury, or are you looking after someone who has had one? In my family, in the last 3 years, we've suffered from 3 head injuries that turned into very nasty concussions. So for myself, I had a concussion 15 months ago, and my daughter Abby had one 3.5 years ago. They've had a major adverse effect on each of our lives and our family. And so I thought it would be great if we could share with you our experiences and help you to get through this process of healing, or healing as best you can, and coping with all of the health challenges, the financial challenges, and the emotional challenges that go with this. So my name is Kerry, and I am a New Zealander. You can call me Kiwi Kerry. If you see over here is our Kiwi bird. My daughter is called Abby. I'm 56, I'm a mother of 3. I have 3 teenagers. Until recently they were aged 17, 18 and 19. And now my daughter, who's the eldest, has turned 20. So let me tell you about our history with head injury and concussion. I'll just tell you briefly what happened to both of us first, and then we'll get into more detail as we create more videos for you on the channel. So the first head injury that we had was Abby when she was 17. Abby was in her second to last year of high school, in 6th form or year 12, whatever you call it in your country. And she went off to school on her birthday. And at lunchtime, she was sitting with a group of friends on the ground, just having lunch and chatting, and one of her friends had brought her a bunch of flowers. She passed the flowers to Abby, the bouquet, and said, "Stand up, Abs, and we'll take your photo." So Abby jumped up to have her photo taken in great excitement, forgetting 2 things. One, they were sitting under a concrete platform for shade, and that platform is not a full height. Secondly, Abby is 5'11", so she jumped up with enthusiasm, smacked her head on the concrete, then fell down immediately into a squat, so her brain went up and down and got reverberated in both directions, and immediately she felt pretty awful. She went to the bathroom and sat there for a while feeling sick. She then went to class and had to try and sit a test in class, which she did. I think she failed. She did very poorly with, and then she came home. Now, when she came home, we didn't really understand what had happened. She was very quiet. She said she didn't feel well. She didn't want her birthday dinner. She didn't want any celebration, and she went to bed. Obviously, in retrospect, this was very dangerous, and it still scares me now to think about it, but nonetheless, that's what happened. The story then gets worse. While she'd said that she had hit her head, we still didn't realise that it was serious. And the next day, all of our family got into the car to drive down to a place called Mount Maunganui, a beachside community, or Papamoa Beach next door, for the wedding of myself and Ian. We were a bit late getting married. We did that after we had the kids, just to be novel. Anyway, so we went there to have the wedding. We were there with friends and family for 3 days. It was a beautiful experience, but during the whole thing, Abby was very tired, withdrawn, grumpy. Lots of her very old friends were there and their families, and we expected her to be socialising with them, and she didn't. She wanted to lay on her bed all the time. She wandered around without smiling. In the ceremony and photos, trying to get her to smile was a real effort. And I feel really bad in retrospect, because I told her off a few times to put a smile on her face and to cheer up. It was only then, when we got home 3 days later, all of us, that we started to realise the extent of the issues. She tried to go back to school and couldn't. She ended up being off school for the rest of that year and completely unable to sit her final national exams. It then continued. She had to have a lot of therapy, which we'll talk about in later videos, and she wasn't able to go back to school for the rest of that year, although she did try. 3.5 years on, some of the symptoms still linger, and again we'll talk about those soon, but it's been a long haul. Now sadly, 15 months ago, I myself then had a head injury as well. I was away overseas in Rarotonga in the Cook Islands for a board meeting. I had been out to dinner with friends. I went to go to my hotel room, was walking up my external stairs to my second story room on wooden stairs in the dark, and I must have slipped and fallen. I presume that's what happens because I have no memory of it, but it was through some detective work by the hotel staff and my colleagues in terms of finding some of my belongings later that's what they think happened. So I fell backwards down these wooden stairs, hitting the back of my head just to the side of the back, and suffered a very bad head injury. I was stuck in Rarotonga and unable to fly home for 5 days. When I eventually got clearance to fly home, I went into Auckland Hospital for further testing. That head injury has affected me and affects me still. 15 months on, I've come a long way, but I'm still not 100% back to normal. So that's as a brief introduction to give you an idea of what we've been through. My point of making this video is to say, yes, it is an awful thing to have a concussion or a head injury, but in general you can recover, albeit slowly sometimes, but there are ways that you can help yourself or your loved one recover from such an injury. Now, we've had a long journey. We've had help from a lot of specialists. We've had concussion or head injury specialists looking after us. We've had neurologists, psychologists, physiotherapists, behavioural optometrists, because I've had a lot of visual problems. And then we've tried, so that's the conventional therapies that we've tried. Then we've also tried a lot of natural therapies, whether that's been in terms of caregivers or whether that's been in terms of things that we've done or supplements or all manner of different things that we've tried. So what I would love to do on this channel is work with you and help you to get through this journey as well. And let's hope that we can together end up recovered or as close to it as we can get, and with a lot of happiness at the end rather than all the angst and anguish and sorrow that you go through at the beginning. So today it's lovely to meet you, and I trust that you'll come back and watch our next video. If you'd like to get more advice about how to survive concussion or a head injury, please click on subscribe below and also click on the bell so that you get notifications of our videos as they come out. And write some comments below if there's things in particular that you'd like us to cover, or questions that you've got on the subject. So it's lovely to meet you, and I look forward to seeing you on our next videos. Bye.